Well, we were just talking before we started recording about the 96, 97 teams that you were a part of being among the greatest teams they've ever had here. And you mentioned 18 of the 22 starters in 97 were from the state of North Carolina. What is the challenge in reestablishing, you're a big part of the recruiting base here, what is the
Yes,
challenge
sir.
in reestablishing that and getting kids interested in coming back here to school like you guys did back then?
You know, the whole key is just reaching out to the high school coaches in this state and making the high school coaches feel like they're part of our team. You know, and it's not so much the University of North Carolina kicking the ball off at 1 p.m. against the University of Miami or Georgia Tech, whoever. It's the state of North Carolina kicking the ball off, and we want to be inclusive. We want everybody to feel a piece of ownership to what we're doing here. And that's how we did it the first time, and that's how we're going to do it again. We feel very, very confident that we know how to go about this process. And it's not hard, like we were just talking about, just being a regular good guy. Just reaching out and saying hello and saying welcome into our facility here. Welcome to come watch us practice. This coaches clinic that we just had, I think, is a great example of how we're going to repave these roads, you know, and getting the high school. We had 400 high school coaches here for our first year. I think it was just absolutely outstanding. And, you know, again, it goes back to there's so many great players in this state. I truly think this is the most underrated state in America for high school football players.
I mean, are the challenges similar from the first time to now, except the league's better, so you have a better league to sell, and Coach Brown has a resume now they didn't have then?
Right, and I don't think the program is quite as depleted now as it was when we came the first time. You know, Coach Crum was an outstanding football coach, but the program was in a tough spot when we got here the first time. I really believe that right now this program is in pretty solid shape. Larry did a great job of recruiting character kids, kids that'll try hard. What we've got to do is we've got to go out and just take the next step, and we've got to get the elite in-state player to say, I'm going to be a Tar Heel. And then once we get that ball rolling, and again, we're getting all the players in the state of North Carolina to stay at home, and right here in Chapel Hill, we'll get this program right back where it was and where it needs to be.
How's recruiting different here than like Texas, Florida State, Texas A&M? It's a different level, caliber.
You're good. The state of Florida, and you know, I was at Florida State for 5 years, and we won a national championship. It's an elite brand, okay? It's an elite brand, and you go to Texas A&M, and high school football in the state of Texas is obviously huge. I don't look at Texas A&M as being an elite brand, but within the state of Texas, it's a very strong brand, and there's enough players in the state. I kind of, you know, I look at us, I think we've got the best of both worlds here at North Carolina. We have an elite national brand. We can take our brand anywhere in America, and people are going to receive us warm. They're going to understand that the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, Carolina Blue, okay, all those things. You know, I'm not necessarily sure that you're going to be able to do that at some other places. And so, you know, and like I said here, there's so many great kids in the state of North Carolina. We just really have to, you know, laser focus our attention, our detail on keeping these kids here. God, I wish I could just name about 6 kids right now. They're on the tip of my tongue, and if we get them, this program's gonna be back to being great again, you know? And it's not going to take magic. It's not going to take, we just need a few I-dos.
What's the key to getting those elite guys? Because traditionally Clemson, Tennessee,
Right.
South Carolina, even like Florida State and those.
Right.
Coming
You know what? A lot like Texas, a lot like Florida, a lot of these kids in the state of North Carolina have grown up dreaming about being Tar Heels. They're dreaming about being Tar Heels, wearing Carolina blue, playing in the Dean Dome, playing in Kenan Stadium. So now all we got to do is we got to give them reason. We got to give them reason. We got to reestablish the reasoning to come to Chapel Hill. You're going to get a great education. You're going to have as fine of experience as a student athlete as you can have anywhere in America. But most importantly, we're here to win. We're going to win. I had a great job at Texas A&M. I had a great job at Florida State where we won a national championship. I was amazingly comfortable in the job I had with Jimbo Fisher. But when Mac Brown called me, he said, Brew, we've got unfinished business, okay, in Chapel Hill. Let's go back and finish this business. Will you come with me? And I said yes, because I know the power of this job. I know what this job can do and what it means, and we're here to win. The vision is so crystal clear on how we go about things on a daily basis, the things we need to do to reestablish Carolina as the premier school in the state of North Carolina, and we're doing those things.
Coach, your talk about this year's team, tight ends, we've had Crumpler, Freddie Jones, Eric Ebron.
Come on, start out with my first one. Who was my first one? Okay, you think about it. Deems May. Okay, let's go Greg DeLong. Let's go Freddie Jones. Let's go Algie Crumpler. And this is in a 9-year period. Those guys, that we had here. And so keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. The current crop of tight ends, you got some experience, maybe one of the deepest position groups. How they looked?
They've had a really good spring. They really have. And I'm broken-hearted about Brandon Fritz, okay? Here's a young guy that, hurt his knee last spring. He's in a great frame of mind. He's in great physical shape. And one of our first practices this spring, he hurts his other knee, and so tremendous setback, if you want to call it that, for Brandon Fritz. But again, my whole personality, my whole thought process is one man's misfortune is another man's opportunity. Next man up. We've got to take that mentality here. Carl Tucker understands what I expect out of the tight end. I expect, I've coached Hall of Fame tight ends. I've coached NFL tight ends, a ton of them. I want elite players playing the position for us. And so it's a tremendous challenge for Carl Tucker to embrace that thought, those ideas, and be elite. Be elite. I'm challenging you to be elite. Jake Vargas, can he step his game up? We got a couple, Noah Turner and Garrett Walston. Those guys need to step it up. We all need to step it up. Every coach, every player, embrace the process, but know that, this is a hard, tough game. And we watched one of our men go down early in the process, and God, it was hard to see that happen. But you know what? It's football. We got next man up. Let's go. And we're going to love Brandon Fritz, and we're going to help him through this thing, and hopefully we get Brandon Fritz back at some point next season. That would be a really amazing thing if he can get back.
What about coming back to the program and trying to bring it back up, outweighed being at another program where football was king?
Right. You know what? Okay, so there's a professional part of a decision and there's a personal part of a decision. We were here for 9 years the first time. My wife's sister came with us. She's still here. She never left. My oldest son lives in Raleigh. 2.5 years ago, we built our forever home 11 miles south of Chapel Hill, just down past Farrington Village. And so we were coming here on our vacations and time off, and so when Mac Brown called me, my wife kind of knew the call was coming, and she had tears in her eyes because she was so I've taken my wife all over the world as a football coach. If I go through my itinerary, my resume, where we've been a lot of places, and and I love North Carolina too, don't get me wrong, but the opportunity for me to do something special for my wife made me as a man feel really, really good, you know, and so, you know, we're back here except my son's getting married in July. My wife's, instead of talking to my wife's sister every day for an hour, she drives over and sees her, you know, and that's cool. I think that's really cool. And us, our challenge we have as coaches, me and Mac and the rest of the coaches, is let's get this thing right. Let's get this thing right. We know how to get it right, and it's about player acquisition. You go get better players, and you coach the living bejesus out of them. You hire a great strength coach who's going to get them bigger, faster, stronger, and nastier, okay? That's how you build a program. And you build it with a head coach who has a vision and a real thought process on how to do this, you know?
What's the role? Sorry, Carl Tucker said that the role of the tight end is a lot more a playmaker in this offense. Can you describe the role of the tight end in this offense and go through kind of your scholarship tight ends and what they each bring?
Yeah. Okay. So Carl Tucker and what you know, this, you know, I mean, air raid offense. Okay. You know, it's new to me. Okay. I've never been part of the air raid offense. I'm still learning the intricate details of exactly what this means, okay? I've been in more of a pro-style offense most of my career. This is fun and exciting to learn something new, to do something different. Well, all we're trying to do is take fast athletes, guys that can really run, guys that are really athletic, and create space for them. Put them in space. So we're not saying it's a 12-yard route. It could be a 6-yard route. It could be a 14-yard route, okay? There's no concrete details in what we're asking the players to do. There's more of a feel to what we're doing, you know? And make no mistake about it, this deal, we want to get vertical in the passing game, okay? We want to stretch the defense, okay? And we want it to be an uncomplicated deal for the players so that they're not thinking, they're out there reacting instinctively to what's going on the field. And you're truly letting the athleticism really play out, you know. Carl Tucker, 6'2", 250 pounds. I think he's athletic. I think he's got decent ball skills. He's got to get better as a pass catcher. He's got to get himself in better physical shape. That's the challenge, okay, in this offense. He's conditioning wise, at the pace we're going to play at, he's got to get in better physical condition, you know. Jake Vargas. Love Jake Vargas. Love his mindset. He's a hard-nosed, tough guy, okay? He doesn't necessarily have the length that I look for at the position, but he's got the toughness that I look for at the position. He is a hard-nosed, physically tough guy that everybody in the room respects. And that's the great thing about my room is I've got a bunch of older guys. I got a bunch of guys that have been in the battle, that have gone to war, and players on this team respect. Garrett Walston, he's an athletic guy. He's longer guy. He's the type of body type that that I've been around and accustomed to. You know, I like his pass receiving skills. He's got to get with Brian Hess in the weight room. Okay, he has got to absolutely annihilate the weights this spring, this summer. I mean, he's got to get tougher. You know, that's where he's got to take his game. Noah Turner, he's a big physical guy, 255-pound guy. You know, we got to see, what type of assets does he bring to the passing game? You know, he's going to bring us some good thump in the run game. So yeah, and we got a young guy coming in from Tallahassee, Kamari Morales, who I'm really excited about too. So we got some dudes. We good, guys?
Coach, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.